Here's Joe Biden at the State of the Union responding to Marjorie Taylor Greene heckling him, telling him to say her name.
Laken Riley, an innocent young woman who was killed by an illegal. That's right. But how many of the thousands of people being killed by illegals? To her parents, I say, my heart goes out to you, having lost children myself. I understand.
Well, he managed to make it about himself and his own lost child, while at the same time mispronouncing Laken's name. But that's about the best you could possibly expect from a dementia patient, I suppose. Good for him. Now let's see him post coaching from his woke advisors discussing this on MSDNC.
You use the word illegal when talking about the man who allegedly killed Laken Riley.
An undocumented person. And I shouldn't have used illegal. I should have, it's undocumented. And look.
Once again, the Democrats put the emphasis not on the loss of this young nursing student's life, but rather upon the individual who was in the country illegally, who had previously been arrested, and the gall that Joe Biden had to call him an illegal, despite the fact that he literally, allegedly, murdered this young woman after attempting to arape her. Imagine the left is more outraged over the fact that Biden dared to call them illegals than the murder itself. They don't truly care about the people of our nation. We all know that. They care about looking good for each other, preening their social justice feathers brightly so that they are acknowledged by each other to be in the in-group, to be the ones that have compassion and empathy for murderers. Because don't you dare call a murderer an illegal. That would not be befitting of a truly compassionate person. But where's the compassion for the citizens of this country that are seeing our tax dollars go to paying for medical care for them, putting them in hotels while there are so many veterans languishing on the streets? So many people now addicted to fentanyl that is brought in by the same cartels that pour the illegals across our border. Because this is what Biden and the left represents. And why are they doing this? To get the census up in blue states so that it counterweighs those fleeing such states of high net worth to places like Florida so that they can have a permanent electoral majority. 13 electoral seats for the flood of immigrants that have come in, something like 8 million people over the last couple of years, thanks to Joe Biden opening up the floodgates. And yet, they don't want the populace seeing them as illegals because it interferes with their plan to settle these people, to get them the vote, to move the census. So it's performative in the manner that, oh my goodness, we have such compassion. But it's really there for a very specific reason, and that is to propagandize their actions and make it look like anybody that is against such measures lacks compassion, is an evil person, is a MAGA Republican. Yeah, I think that immigration in the legal sense is fine, but we have to have rules. We have to bring people into our house that we want. Why don't you guys open up all your houses and let people flood in and see whether or not you like that? But they don't, because they live in their gated communities and thus are not exposed to the crime that poor Laken Riley was bashed over the head by this illegal, and they have greater contempt for those of us who refer to them as such versus the murder.